what's the saying? Those who can't teach. You ever heard that before? Anyone ever heard that? All right. So I kind of noticed that too when I was younger. Like, even now with some of the teachers I work with, some of them they wanted to do this in particular, but they didn't for whatever reason, and so now they teach others about it, but they don't necessarily do it. So it's kind of awkward to me. So, like here I was trying to teach kids about hip hop, and a lot of times when I would go in there, like I'm doing it for real, but I couldn't kick any of my rhymes for them because I was cursing all the time in my rhymes. So I was like, I need to come up with something that I could present to them that'll give them information, but at the same time they can sing along with it without getting in trouble with their parents. And that's how that song came about. And like the first time that song was ever performed, it was a different beat, but still pretty much the same melody. And the kids, they did the chorus, and it was a performance. Like I couldn't even be there for it because I had to go to a rally in upstate New York. I was like protesting something at the time. It was Rockefeller drug laws, and so I couldn't be there for it. But the kids, man, when I walked in the building Monday, like, oh my God, your kids, they were amazing. Like everyone was like, they killed it. You should have saw it. His swagger was on 100. Like the kids did an amazing job. I'm so sad I didn't see it, but just from the excitement that everyone had, I was like, I got something, man. It's like I know I have something here. So I just kept developing this and developing this over the years. And I'll tell you a little more about what else it turned into. We go to the next slide. So that's the South Bronx, all right? Like in the 70s. I mean, imagine living in an area that looks like that. That looks like some places you see overseas during war times. All right, and this was New York City, one of the greatest cities in the world. All right, abandoned buildings everywhere. Ironically enough, Baltimore, where I live now, looks a little like this. All right, so it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of Baltimore in the next couple of years. All right, so it says up there, along with the low expense and the demise of other forms of popular music, social and political events further accelerated the rise of hip hop. In 1959, the Cross Bronx Expressway was built through the heart of the Bronx, displacing a lot of the middle class white communities and causing widespread unemployment among the remaining blacks as stores and factories fled the area. Uh, the poverty that was going on in New York. I mean, it looked like an epidemic. It was just ridiculous. And so what happened when a lot of the whites moved out and they built this co-op, these co-op buildings, where like imagine living in an area like where so many of these apartment buildings, like 15,000 of you living all together in extreme poverty. Like the whole, going through the staircase and smell like piss. So does the elevator. I mean, just everywhere, broken glass, everywhere. That's what he was rapping about. You know what I mean? What they were seeing on a regular basis. So a lot of the middle class families fled, and basically the black and Latino gangs began to grow in power. Now I'm gonna come back to the whole black and Latino gang thing later on when we talk about break. But those images, man, are just like when I first saw them, and even living in the area now, I remember being shown a house when we were looking for houses in Baltimore. And one block we went on, there were three lived-in houses on the entire block. The rest of them were shells, and they actually trying to convince us to buy a house on this block. And I'm like, brother, it's a ghost town. I just saw tumbleweed. There's no tumbleweed in Baltimore, but it looked like tumbleweed a second ago. It's bad. I'm good. I'm good. Who wants to be in that? You know what I mean? Imagine what that does to your spirit. You know. You go to the next slide. So I just wanted to leave you with that image or whatever before we got into the elements because I did a song a long time ago that never came out and it was called Something Out of Nothing. To me, when I think of nothing, a lot of people sometimes think of void or whatever, just like black, just nothing. Like those last images, that's nothing to a lot of people. That's when if there was a photo next to nothing to describe it, that's what nothing is, and that's what they live around. They feel like they have nothing. So that's why you see so many artists that when they finally make it, they brag on what they have so much because they're used to having nothing. New money. That's what new money does. I've had nothing all of my life. You expect me not to talk about all these cool things I have now? Come on, are you crazy? That's a natural thing for anyone. Who's come from that. A lot of times, it's so, especially when you haven't been educated and you're not taught or whatever that once you get these things or whatever, now your job really is to show others how they can get out of their predicament. That's not what most people are taught. So anyway, we're gonna move to the 4 elements of hip hop: DJing, MCing, breaking, graffiti. Not necessarily in that order, but those are the 4 elements of hip hop. All right. So the concept of the 4 elements comes from an artist and a brother by the name of African Bambaataa. All right. And like he noticed when you would go to these functions in New York, these were the different things that you saw going on. There was a DJ, there was someone emceeing the party, there were people who were dancing, and then there were people or whatever from all over the place who were tagging up in different places, whether it was writing on the table, tag 183 or something like that, or putting that somewhere, or you were piecing up somewhere else. Go to the next slide. That is the flyer. That right there for the most pivotal event in the early history of hip hop. All right. Imagine that. If I gave you a flyer like that nowadays, you would not be coming to that party, right? Right. Okay. This is a big upgrade. We've come along. It was an index card. All right. Was it 25 cents for ladies, 50 cents for fellas? All right.
That's right.
Cool Herc. Cool Herc. All right. Cool Herc is considered by most the godfather of hip hop, or the father of hip hop. Next slide. There he is. I am honored to say, well, I'm going to tell you about him first. But on August 11, 1973, DJ Cool Herc was a DJ and MC at a party at a recreation room. And now that place is actually a landmark in New York, Cedric Avenue in Bronx. They do tours and everything. Basically, of the Bronx adjacent to the Cross Bronx Expressway. Some say it was not the actual birthplace of hip hop because the genre was developed slowly in several places, but it verified the place as being the most pivotal spot, as I mentioned earlier. One thing that Herc did that most people had never saw before was extending the break. He had a 2 turntable setup, which was foreign to most people. Okay, where he would buy two of a record. So when he would DJ, he noticed that there was a particular part of the song that when I played it, when he would play it, people would go crazy. So he just keep bringing that part back. Like, man, if I keep playing that part, these guys are going to be sweating like slaves in a couple minutes. I'm going to get the party rocking crazy. So he would extend the break. He would just keep extending the break. And so basically, it would let people dance longer, like break dancing or breaking. And people would begin emceeing. Sometimes, like at the time, he was emceeing the party as well. It basically laid the foundation for hip hop as we know it. Before I jump into the next section, let me say something else. So the whole, like, just so you know, the term breaking, they say break dancing, but it's really break. All right, that was the original term. And what happened was, media gets a hold of things. They were like, okay, if I say breaking, you're not gonna know what it is, so let's call it break dancing, so they understand that it's dancing. And that's how the term break dancing came about, but it's really just break. And B-boy, B-girl, some people describe it as break boy, break girl, or beat boy, beat girl, all right? Because of the break that they were dancing over that was extended at the time. All right, so that's how a lot of these terms came about. Now, before a little fun fact about me and this brother. I actually know him personally. I was honored to meet him. I want to say like back in 2003, because my wife's fashion instructor or whatever at the school was dating him. All right, and so when she found out we were getting married and we was getting ready to send her an invite, she was like, "Hey, you guys got a DJ yet? I can introduce you to Cool Herc." My wife, it didn't register just yet. Like, she knew the name, but it didn't register yet. And she was like, "Cool Herc, I know you know who that is. Cool Herc. Why does that name sound so familiar?" So she comes to me, she's like, "Hey, my professor said that if you want, we can get Cool Herc to DJ the wedding." I almost flipped over everything. You don't walk in here and just say that. Who says that? I was lost my mind, man. I was like, "Yo, do you realize who?" You just said his name like he's Joe the plumber or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool work, yo. The thing, and I say this to all artists, no matter what it is you do, all right, whatever your craft is, there's very few artists who get to meet the person directly responsible for what it is they do. Who gets to meet that person? Like, no one ever thinks about that. You know what I mean? If you're a jazz musician, what are the chances are you getting to meet the person who laid the foundation for early jazz? You know what I mean? That doesn't happen. So for me, like her telling me that, man, like I almost shit my pants. You know what I mean? Like I almost lost my mind. And yeah, right. And so it was amazing. So, and it wasn't like we just met him in public. We get the invite to his house. Like we go to his house. We go to his home. So we go there, and like yo, they were grilling. They were cooking out in the back, and I just sat. And it wasn't like everyone was there. They were cooking for us, like just for us. And we just sat there, chopping up. I'm walking through this wall that has like all of these accolades and different things he's done over the years. And like, man, I wanted to cry. I wanted to be held. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm here. I can't believe I'm really here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it, man. It was like one of the most significant moments in my career / my life period. And he's super down to earth, man. To this day, like he talks to me, I check in with him from time to time. The wild thing is the fact that he even still calls me just to check in, like boggles my mind. It's like even though I know what our relationship is now, like how it got to that point is just crazy to me. On the day when I bought my house or whatever with my wife, and it's major. I had never lived in a house all my life until I bought one. And the first person to call me was her. You know what I mean? Like, my father's been dead since I was 10. So, I talked to my mom, like, maybe after I spoke to him. Like, I just kind of sent the mass text to everybody, like, yo, the deal went through. Everything's official. We're moving in today. You know what I mean? Like, I'm packing my shit today. We're moving out. And he was the first person to call me, man. And, him DJing my wedding, people, like, when he DJ'd our wedding, people came in, and they were like, people rolled up to me like, dude, do you know who's DJing your wedding? Nah, who is it? Help me out. I don't know. Right? Like, I paid him. What do you think? But like, people were in awe, and it wasn't just like, it wasn't people just my age, like some of the folks who were around when he was in our wedding. We got married in New York, so they were like, who Herc, son? It's Herc. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, Booty just walked through the room. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking Herc, dog. It's Herc. So, like, it was amazing, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, like, just last year when he was having health issues and stuff, I mean, like, and they were trying to raise funds because a lot of musicians and stuff, or people in the business don't necessarily have health insurance. So, there's people who are millionaires, and it's directly related to this what he put in, all that work he put in, and he's struggling day to day. You know what I mean? Like straight up. So that's why a lot of us felt obligated to help raise money, for this brother, because I mean, what's it? It's a line by Black Thought which says, "Cool Herc ain't never get a royalty check." And it's a powerful line. I mean, he didn't get a royalty check because he didn't make music per se. He was a DJ. But at the same time, I mean, man, if there was something developed where we all had to mandatorily like give this dude money out of our check, I'd be one of the first people to sign up. Because fact of the matter is, if he didn't do what he did, I wouldn't be here talking to y'all right now. So yeah, man, we're all. If you love hip hop, that guy right there is the person you need to thank if you ever come across. Give him a major high five. Like the best high five you can conjure up. So, in the late 70s, the term MC, Master of Ceremony, also known as rapper, became associated